stems from an FBI investigation into corruption in college basketball. The case first shook the sport last fall when charges were filed against 8 people, including 4 assistant coaches. In October, Louisville fired head coach Rick Pitino after he acknowledged being connected to the investigation. Also in February, Arizona head coach Sean Miller missed 1 game after an ESPN report claimed that he was heard on an FBI wiretap, allegedly discussing payment to secure the signing of DeAndre Ayton. All current players except Texas guard Eric Davis Jr. have been cleared to play, but the shadow of the scandal indeed lingers as we begin the first full day of March Madness. You know, we've heard about this commission on basketball. We've heard Condoleezza Rice is front and center on that. David Robinson is part of it. Grant Hill is part of it. If you were on that committee, if you were on that commission, Charles, what's the first thing you do when you look at college basketball?
I would sit down with the players. You got to get everybody together. It's kind of like an unsolvable problem also, because I've heard some of these idiots on TV say we got to pay the players. That sounds great in theory, but I don't know who you pay. Do you pay the basketball team, the football team, the diving team, the swimming team? You got to pay the women's sports. That brings up Title IX. I've heard these idiots say, well, you should be able to sell your likeness. Well, that would really bother me if I'm a decent player or not a good player. Everybody's going to buy Trae Young's jersey, but if I'm on that team and this guy's making an extra $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, that ain't fair to me. If I'm on a football team and the quarterback and running back can sell their jerseys, nobody buying a big, ugly offensive lineman's jersey or defensive lineman. Ernie, there's no perfect solution. Number one, I think we need to do as much as we can for these kids. But I don't come up with solid solutions. I don't know what they can do.
Well, you know, being blessed to be a player at high school level, college level, and the pro level, then being blessed to also coach AAU basketball right now, do college basketball, and do pro basketball. I think the one thing is, it's not about enforcement of the rules for me. It's about looking at the predatory environment that they've created. And when
who has created?
That the NCAA has created. It's a predatory environment. So when you see predators there, you can't be surprised, because there's a feeling of undervalue for the student athlete. And so when you feel undervalued, you allow people who sit on the fence morally or sketchy, and you allow 50-year-old men to prey on 17-year-old moral values and say, hey, would you do this for me? Or 50-year-old people. So a lot of times you have to look at the environment that's created first, then you can manage rules. And the last part I'll say of that is, I just think that you have to have representation for those student athletes prior to these rules being made. There's no representation, so you don't know what's right or wrong for them. And if you don't have representation, how can you make a rule for me if at 17 coming into college basketball?
Clark.
Yeah, I don't know if the NCAA is the culprit in the environment. Now, clearly there's some culpability with the NCAA based on the structure and system of an association that's private and is involved in now enforcing rules. So that has to all be looked at and reconfigured. That's going to take some significant time to get to the core of the system in terms of the concept of amateurism and also the structure of how the NCAA is constituted. To Kenny's point, the environment has to be reworked. The relationship between players and agents has to be looked at. And also continuing to enhance the benefit package that a student athlete receives on scholarship is critically important. Steps have been taken in that direction, but it's going to take some time. The branches on this tree are going to continue to shake, but I'm confident that college basketball on commission is moving in the right direction to bring some real reform and change, but it's going to take some time.
We could go on and on and on, but then we'd miss games the rest of the day. More to come after this.
Wake up to great tasting.
Yeah, the Cancer was the heavy favorite. Being an underdog really is motivation. People are thinking that you're going to bottom out. People are thinking that you're not going to be strong enough. And I know that by beating cancer, everything else is easy.
Take a time out to fight cancer. Play the Infinity round-by-round bracket.
Dad! Can you drive me to Jessica's house?
This is what our version of financial planning looks like. Tomorrow's important, but so's making the most of the house before they're out of the house. Spend your life living. Find an advisor at northwesternmutual.com.
With the press of a button, you can order 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas for $5.99 each with the new Pie Tops.
Order pizza on your shoe?
Yes, with the new Pie Tops. And when your pizza arrives, you can even pause the game with the new Pie Tops.
Who called the timeout? It was Jenny. Her pizza's here. Who's Jenny? That's Jenny.
All right, guys, here we go.
Jenny?
Oh, all right, calm down.
Get the official pizza of March Madness delivered. 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas, just $5.99 each, because no one out-pizzas the Hut.
You guys remember this championship game?
How can I forget it? I was there.
Oh, hey, I was there too. No, you weren't.
There's 5 seconds on the clock. Lorenzo gets the air ball, drives it through the hoop, wins it all. Never seen anything like this.
Want to see what it's like to actually sit courtside?
Watch March Madness in virtual reality. You've never seen anything like it.
What's up, Jeremy? What's that?
It's the new Ring Spotlight Cam. Lets you see and talk to anyone on your property right from your phone.
Anyone?
Anyone.
Solicitors?
Yeah.
Car thieves?
Sure.
At night?
It's got a light.
What about bears?
Yep.
Pirates?
Probably.
Ninjas?
Depends.
Giant squids?
Definitely.
Regular squids?
Has to.
Aliens?
For you, of course.
I'll take 6.
See and speak to visitors right from your phone. Check it out at ring.com.
It's Iona and Duke. There's the Blue Devils' Grayson Allen getting set to tip off here on CBS. For some insight on the matchup, we asked the Gaels' Tim Cluse and the Blue Devils' Coach K about their keys to the game in Northwestern Mutual planning for success.
They're going to be in the starting blocks. They're coming at you with a really good offensive team. So us playing defense and limiting them to one shot is going to be a key to the game.
They rebound over 40% of their shots, offensive rebound right now, against higher level opponents. So I don't know what that number could jump to against us. And we got to try our best to kind of tip the balls out, knock the balls out, box out, and hit people early. Whether that's going to help or not, I don't know. We're going to show a try.
For those of you watching on CBS, we're going to get you out there to the start of Iona and Duke. And for those of you watching on True TV, stay right there. We'll be right back.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Applebee's To Go. Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And by Nike React.
Hey Siri, play me something I'd like.
Okay.
I'ma ride it to the soul. I'ma ride it to the soul.
Laura, you found my secret. Our world is in danger. You must stop them.
It'll be an adventure.
Some men like dangerous women.
You shouldn't have come here, but I'm glad that you did.
You messed with the wrong family.
Tomb Raider.
Can't be too careful these days.
I'll take 2.
Experience it on IMAX. Rated PG-13.
A naturally aspirated 5-liter V8 engine. A 10-speed direct shift transmission. A meticulously crafted interior. All of these are feats of engineering. Combining them with near-perfect weight distribution is a feat of amazing. Experience the first ever 471 horsepower Lexus LC500 or the multi-stage hybrid LC500H. Experience amazing.
So you think my kids are
gonna make some great memories here? Yes. Look at that play set.
Wow, it's like he knows.
Knows what you're thinking? Comes with the job.
Man, the only people that get me like this are my teammates. Hey guys. Yo, what up, James?
Hey, James.
Hey, Cole. Nice shorts.
Thanks, man.
Chris, I figured out what...
Yeah, those shorts are nice.
The State Farm red really complements my skin tone.
I thought that was Rockets red.
Why can't it be both?
I'll just do it.
To Pittsburgh in the first round of the NCAA tournament. It's the 15th seed Iona Gaels from the Metro Atlantic and the number 2 seeded Duke Blue Devils from the ACC. The winner will play Rhode Island, who just beat Trae Young in Oklahoma in overtime. Another sensational freshman coming up. The Blue Devils' Marvin Bagley leads 26-7 Duke. Hi, everyone. Kevin Harlan, Dan Bonner, Hall of Famer Reggie Miller, Dana Jacobson is on our sideline. You love Bagley.
What a freshman campaign for this young man. ACC player and freshman of the year, and I love what Coach K said about him. He's an elite runner and finisher around the rim.
Well, and Iona's not concerned with freshmen. Their guy is a graduate transfer, Zach Lewis, the MVP of the MAC tournament, and he's going to have to continue his postseason play at a high level.
Tim Kluse is the coach of Iona. His leading scorer is a junior from Spring Valley, New York, Ricky McGill. Second leading scorer for Duke is Grayson Allen, the only senior with 4 freshman starters around him. And Mike Krzyzewski is in his 38th season coaching the Devils. Our officials this afternoon, Chris Rastetter, who's in his 15th NCAA tournament. Courtney Green, his first, and Tim Comer, his 4th NCAA. And here we go, Duke and Iona. With a drive. Duval, and they go inside, and Carter is there. Caught it, took it, drew the foul, got the 2, sent him to the line.
And that's going to be really difficult for Iona. You can just look out on the court.
Look at the size
and
difference.
see the size difference. They just throw it up over this zone defense, and there's absolutely nothing Iona can do once Wendell Carter Jr. gets the ball down inside.
Wendell Carter is a freshman from Atlanta. Played his senior season at Pace Academy, a terrific player. Second team All-ACC and some full-court pressure, and that's deflected out of bounds.
But with the Duke Blue Devils, they've had a tough time defensively in the early part of the season. And in the later part of the season, they switched to primarily a zone look, but they get after you with some pressure.
I like the pressure here, 3 quarters to slow down the Gales here. But the size different, and more importantly, the length of Duke is what causes so much trouble.
Nice step up here, Casimir.
Nice move up and under by Casimir with the pump fake.
Now, Iona likes to force turnovers. They like to get out and run. They shoot threes. 36% of their points come from beyond the three-point arc. So they're going to have to force some turnovers and get out and go because they can't stop that.
Well, here's the thing. They fell back into that 3-2 zone, but it's the size of Bagley. And again, Casimir with the first 5 here for the Gales.
And that's the answer. You go down on the other end and you make threes.
But they're going to have a hard time trying to slow down this juggernaut of an offense of Duke basketball.
Duval will work and feed outside. Here's Grayson Allen. Wendell Carter, who maneuvers down low, and then a foul on Zach Lewis.
Well, Lewis had the right idea.
Yes, he did.
Lewis had the right idea. He was just a little bit late. If Carter is going to dribble the ball in there, you got to go get it while he's dribbling it. He just didn't get there in time.
23rd consecutive NCAA tournament for Duke, second longest in college basketball, and back at Kansas, who's making a 29th consecutive tournament appearance.
Well, you got to throw the ball down low to Bagley. I mean, he has the guy on his backside. Or you could just knock down a 3 and say, I'll see you on the next time down.
Of course, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people think Duke is a real threat to win this tournament. They have such great inside-outside threat.
Crawford. 20-13 record for the Gales from the Metro Atlantic Athletic. Casimir Allen was there defending. Retrieved by Gary Trent Jr.
Well, Coach Kluse told us his keys to the game. They've got to shoot the ball at a high clip, and they've got to limit their turnovers. You cannot let Duke with second and third opportunities as the ball knocks down his second tray in this first half.
Same position.
Right, and they can't give up second shots. We saw the size advantage here that Duke has. You can't give up second and third looks on the offensive glass.
Lewis in backcourt, gets it down court. Casimir, the drive, and the little man can't get it to fall. Here comes Grayson Allen. Like we said, the only senior among 4 freshman starters. Trent Allen inside with Bagley getting it from the other big man, Carter. That size for Duke is amazing with a foul inside on Iona.
Well, the size is amazing, but Grayson Allen gets the ball into the lane, draws the defense because they have been scoring inside, and then they knock down a 3. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, it's pick your poison with Duke because they have such great interior scorers in Wendell Carter Jr. and Marvin Bagley III. So if you isolate them and try to take them out, those three-point shooters get untracked.
Casimir picked up the foul. Here comes Carter, quickly double. Ball outside and cross court. Grayson Allen 3.
There you go.
Oh, my heavens.
There you go.
Duke is 5 of 5 to start the game.
And then this is how you slow them down. A little soft three-quarter press here. Got to be careful. Lazy pass here by McGill.
But you notice that Iona isn't trying to make Duke pay for this pressure. After Grayson Allen went for that steal, Iona held the ball and allowed the defense to get totally set before they attacked.
This is Zach Harris triple. He got it.
Shoot the ball at a high clip. Already back-to-back threes here for Iona as well.
Ball and knocked away as the backcourt comes in on the point guard for the Devils. Duke began the season ranked number 1 and began non-conference 11-0. The 12-time Coach King has started the season 11-0. Allen, 3.
This is too easy.
Wow.
Shooting fish out of a barrel right here.
6 of 6 and 4 three-point hits.
Well, they're wide open shots.
Casimir and Crawford.
So Duke wants to speed this game up. They want to play at a high clip. So they're almost baiting Iona out of this trap to play faster. You got to show patience and then make them pay at the end by making a shot.
Lewis with a good rebound inside, collected by Adogi.
Nice move there by Adogi on the offensive glass here.
Well, it doesn't matter what you do on offense.
Right, offense has not been the problem early on in this first half.
Here's Duvall back outside for Trent. Allen again, 3. With their first miss, here comes Lewis. Jack Lewis from Windsor, Connecticut. Casimir in the corner, triple. Wow, he's zeroed in.
And this is what Iona wants to do. We saw when we watched them practice yesterday, they spent the whole practice counting down from 10 seconds to shoot the ball. They like to get the ball up the court and shoot it, particularly threes, as quickly as they can.
He's got 2 threes, 3 of 5 start overall.
Duke 4 of 5 from distance, but Iona 3 of 4.
There's an Allen with a 3. Rebound by Casimir. Ahead, and the layup by Adogi, who played at Tulsa for the last 3 years.
Well, nice job here by Coach Cluse and Iona of not panicking when Duke got off to that start from beyond the arc.
Dan, a little 7-0 run for the Gaels.
Well, I was saying they like to get out and go, and they can make threes. They switched over to a man-to-man. Duke got away from the inside game. Now they go back to it.
Carter from Bagley is a miss, surrounded by Maroon, and still got it to drop.
Well, it's like Gulliver's Travels out there.
But you say that in an affectionate way.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. But their size is incredible. And how about the zone, Dan, by Duke? That's something to watch.
Well, Reggie made the point. They've got good quickness. They've got great length.
Lewis, a 15-footer on the fly. So they're hitting the shots.
Again, the scoring is not going to be the problem. It's stopping at the defensive end. And just looking at the size difference, Adogi's going to have his hands full trying to guard Bagley down low. Look at that. Little wedgie.
And they call it a tie-up. And it'll be Iona's ball when we come back. 13.5 to go here in the first half from Pittsburgh on CBS.
San Antonio, here we come. Dang, Chuck, you're really excited about this Final Four. Final Four? Final s'more. I'm more excited about the a la mode. A la what? You know, the famous fort that serves ice cream. Chuck, it's the Alamo, not a la mode. I don't care how they pronounce it. I just want my ice cream. Wow. I wonder if they have sprinkles.
When it's your job to protect the world's greatest nation, it's your responsibility to solve the world's greatest challenges. This is why we search for the best and brightest, why we train for every eventuality, on land and water, in the air, space, and even cyberspace. We operate in a complex world with one simple mission: win.
We're out of Bud Light.
Let the Bud Light flow once again. Dilly dilly.
Dilly, dilly, dilly.
We need a fresh keg here, too. It's really loud in my face.
A keg of Bud Light is changed every 6 seconds. Enjoy it fresh.
Hey, kiddo. See any stars out there?
Not really.
Grab your jacket.
If the moon won't rise, if I never see the setting sun again, you won't hear me cry. This I testify. Please believe me, boy, you know I wouldn't lie. And as long as there is you and me.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh. Right now, Duke with a 2-point lead over Iona. You know, the Gaels live by a mantra. It's from head coach Tim Kloos. It is 12-7-4. You'll find it on their practice jerseys, even some of their championship rings. He got it from his high school coach, Mr. Morris. And what he said was 12 months a year, 7 days a week, 4 hours a day. That's the minimum you have to put in if you really want to be the best that you can be. Obviously, NCAA rules might prevent some of that, so Coach Kloos tells his players that's the minimum you need to do. You need to go the extra mile if you are going to succeed. Right now, going the extra mile in practices is paying off for the Gaels. Just down 2 guys.
He was Tim Kloos' high school coach. He was also Billy Donovan's high school coach.
And to me, a lot of that is self-policing because the coaches and the assistant coaches can only do so much. You want to get better, especially at the collegiate level. You got to spend time by yourself and with your teammates in the gym.
Casimir, Iona has made 4 in a row, 9-2 run. Inside Griffin with an no-look pass that was right on the money. And fast break points, good for Iona. 8-zip, scoring out of the timeout there, and it tied the game.
Well, they're not afraid. No. They may be little, but they're not afraid.
Duval gets it over to Bagley. Back to Duval. 3. He puts in another one from distance. Devon Duval from Newcastle, Delaware.
And McGill was basically baiting Duval into shooting that basketball right there. He's already knocked down 3 threes in this first half today.
He really struggled in ACC play shooting the 3, though, Reggie, and overall he's only shooting 27% on the year. So if one of those guys is going to shoot a 3, your scouting report will have it beat Duval, but not today.
Casimir, shot clock at 7. That's a 3, which is no good by Zach Lewis, and picked up by Bagley, who averages a double-double. Back to Duval. Makes the move by Griffin into the hole, and a foul. Reaching in, the foul called on Roland Griffin for Iona.
And Duke is not going to walk the ball up the court, so if you're Iona, you're going to have to get back and get your defense set as fast as you can because Duke is coming at you.
Marquise Bolden is checked in. Dulaure is checked in as well for the Blue Devils.
Well, Javin Delaurier is a guy, Kevin, who was hurt earlier in the season. When he and Bolden came back, that really helped the Duke depth and got them rolling a little bit.
But look at the size advantage on the floor here for Duke as Allen knocks down a little floater in the lane.
Grayson Allen averages 16 points. Second leading assist man and second leading scorer.
And now the Blue Devils fall back into this matchup zone here. Look how far extended Bagley is here on that left side.
Well, they got Bolden in the middle, and they're not worried about the ball going in there because they feel he can stop it.
Griffin.
Ooh, what a touch by Griffin. Nice soft touch.
Well, Griffin had a big game in the Mid-Atlantic Athletic Conference Championship.
Allen with a three. Tap in by Bagley. Bagley taps that up and in. Yeah, Griffin had the big game against Fairfield.
Well, you get them to miss the long three, but you've got to finish up the play by securing the defensive rebound.
Well, Bagley chases every rebound. Offensive rebound, defensive rebound. He just has a knack for knowing where to be.
Griffin with a 19-footer.
And he's not touching rim on those last two shots.
They might consider trying to guard him.
He began his college basketball career at Illinois State.
Now a 1-1-3 zone here matchup falls into a 2-3 zone for Iona.
They're just trying to do whatever they can to match up and get Duke to stop and look at it.
Duval. Now here is Bolden back outside with a miss initially by Duval. An inside claimed and a shove and a foul. And 10.5 to go here in the first half from Pittsburgh. Duke, the 2 seed. Iona, the 5th.
With the press of a button, you can order 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas for $5.99 each with the new Pie Tops.
Order a pizza on your shoe?
Yes, with the new Pie Tops. And when your pizza arrives, you can even pause the game with the new Pie Tops.
Who called timeout? It was Jenny. Her pizza's here. Who's Jenny? That's Jenny.
All right, guys, here we go.
Jenny?
Oh, all right, calm down.
Get the official pizza of March Madness delivered. 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas, just $5.99 each, because no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Wake up early.
Slap on some cologne.
I'm 85 and I want to go home.
Just got a job as a lifeguard in Savannah.
I'm 85 and I want to go home. Dropping sick beats, they called me DJ Nana. 85 and I want to go.
Don't get mad. Get E-Trade, kiddo.
Best tailgate, brisket.
No, real football y pollo asado.
Hoops and wings. Dude, subs.
Hot dog.
Chili dog.
No, Dodger dog.
It's gotta be crawfish.
Now you're talking. Burgers.
7-layer dip. Ribs. No contest.
Hummus.
What?
You need a hot grill.
And an ice-cold Coke.
Of course.
Football and Coke. Come on.
It's got to be Coke.
Game day.
Race day.
Calls for Coke.
You know it.
Grab yourself a Coke.
It's tailgate 101.
You guys remember this championship game?
How can I forget it? I was there. Oh, hey, I was there too.
No, you weren't.
There's 5 seconds on the clock. Lorenzo gets the air ball, drives it through the hoop, wins it all. Never seen anything like this.
Want to see what it's like to actually sit courtside?
Watch March Madness in virtual reality. You've never seen anything like it.
This is the Oasis. It's a place where the limits of reality are your own imagination. You can do anything. I'm here talking to all of you now because our future's being threatened. In the Oasis,
I found something much bigger than myself. Ask yourselves, are you willing to fight?
Ready Player One, rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX, March 29th.
Adam, thank you. Wouldn't that be some kind of upset? Here's a thrown away ball. So far, Iona is shooting 71% from the floor with a drive inside and a whistle and a foul. Casimir was the one that was penetrating. He was working inside on Delorier. The foul. That's the first of the game, and it goes on Duke. Duval will pick it up. So it's Duval and Grayson and Delorier, Bagley out there with Gary Trent Jr. That's the Duke 5 on the floor.
Well, look how small the Gales are right here. Ellen almost picks up a foul here.
Much just off the bench and a 3-0. Delorier with the rebound.
Much is a 40% three-point shooter on the year. In fact, he's their leading three-point shooter. It's dangerous to give him an open look like that.
Bagley surrounded and comes up short. Picked up by Zach Lewis. He was the conference tournament MVP. We're stopping on a dime there is Cedric Casimir. Halfway through the first half here in Pittsburgh. Bayshawn, Munch, Lewis, Casimir.
Duke is very active in this zone, really pushing out on the perimeter. Got to get the ball inside.
Got him with the walk.
He sure did. Stream live, 24/7 highlights, scores and news, free across all your connected devices with CBS Sports HQ. Check it out now at cbssportshq.com.
Wendell Carter Jr. getting just checked back in. Now look at the size advantage with Bagley on the floor along with Carter. Reason why they come back with Crawford.
You take Bagley and Carter, they combine for 21 rebounds a game, the most by any duo in Division I basketball.
Well, the tallest guy out there for Iona is Griffin, and he's only 6'7".
And that's being generous.
Duval has 3 threes, but he takes this one inside with a nice slashing move for 2.
Duval is a guy who's really good driving the ball to the basket.
First to double figures for Duval here for the Blue Devils.
Gales have the ball. They're their 3rd consecutive NCAA tournament, 5th in the past 7 years. Tim Cluse has done a wonderful job with the program now in his 8th season. Casimir, shot clock down to 7. That's a 3. Lewis can't hit. Rebound by Carter.
You got to be careful if you're Iona. You've got to get some stops, obviously, defensively, but you have to keep scoring on the offensive end. You can't have a drought because it's going to be really hard to come back from way down against Duke.
Gary Trent Jr. with a nice drive. By the way, over on TNT, it's Gonzaga and UNC Greensboro coming right down to the wire. 8.5 to go here. Crawford. Bayshawn Munch. And now Casimir. Shot clock again. It's down to 7.
Oh, what a pass.
It was a beautiful one. Crawford caught it, but he could not get it. Carter with the rebound. Duval will take it the other way for the Devils.
See, it's missed opportunities like that for Iona. When you need points are at a premium.
Good stroke by Trent, just a little bit wrong on the length. Carter falls, the collision with Griffin. It's March. The madness is here. Foul goes on Crawford of Iona. We come back to Pittsburgh after this on CBS.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, Rich.
That new SUV?
It's a new Buick Enclave.
Oh, Hunter's playing lacrosse now.
Yep, on Tuesdays.
Monday's soccer.
Wednesday's basketball.
Thursday's hockey.
Friday's taekwondo.
Is that a curling stone?
Saturdays.
Introducing the all-new Buick Enclave.
Mais c'est quoi ça? Ce n'est pas classique. Ce n'est pas une photo de la modèle. C'est une chose.
This is what our version of financial planning looks like. Tomorrow's important, but this officially completes his education. Spend your life living. Find an advisor at northwesternmutual.com.
So, Lionel, what does being able to trade 24/5 mean to you?
Well, it means I can trade after the market closes.
It's true.
So all evening long.
Ooh, so close. Yes, but also all
night through its entirety.
Come on, all
the time from sunset to sunrise.
Right, but you could trade
from darkness to light.
You're not gonna say it, are you?
Haynes presents The Magic of the Pouch. The majestic kangaroo is a miracle of nature. The kangaroo's pouch provides comfort and security for the little ones inside. This amazing feature was possibly the inspiration behind Haynes Comfort Flex Fit, with a breathable pouch for support in roomy fit. It was that, and probably this. Haynes Comfort Flex Fit, the latest innovation in comfort from Haynes.
Not knowing exactly what something is can get us all out of sorts. But then, trepidation be darned, we do our taxes with TurboTax. Snap a photo of your W-2, and all your details are uploaded. No kerfuffle, no tears, no drama. See, nothing to be afraid of.
Intuit TurboTax.
Nice SUV. It's a new Buick Enclave. Can fit up to 7 people. Or poodles.
He's actually a golden English Labra Irish Bernedoodle Retriever with the temperament of a pug.
Introducing the all-new Buick Enclave.
A little game summary there. Both teams shooting over 50% from the floor. They're hitting their threes. We've had very little turnover action, as you can see, though Dan Iona is scoreless the last 3+ minutes. They had 23 points at the last time out, and they're stuck there still.
They've been better, Kevin, when they've been able to push the ball up the court and get off a shot quickly before Duke can get set in that zone defense.
And 10-4 advantage by Duke on the glass. 4 of those coming on the offensive glass.
ACC Player of the Year Marvin Bagley just put one in. Rookie of the Year in the ACC as well, averages 21 points and 11 rebounds. With a spinner, it's a lead of 32-23 for the Devils.
Boy, Kevin, you watch Bagley and you just wonder if there's anything he can't do on a basketball court.
And with ease, there's a nice steal inside that's picked up by Wendell Carter. Here comes Grayson Allen, knifing, throwing it up on the fly, and picked up on the play by Much.
This is where Iona needs to get going and attack.
Lewis, Deshaun Much, lost inside, good deflection. They keep track of those, and they love him. Here comes Bagley, galloping, lays it in with a foul.
See, that's going to be a 5-point swing right there. Turnovers, back-to-back turnovers for Iona, and it's Bagley off to the races here.
What a great job by Grayson Allen to just pitch the ball ahead, not to dribble it up the court himself. And look at Bagley stretch out here at the end of the play. My heavens.
And this is part of what Coach K was telling us about Bagley being an elite runner. Can get out on the break, can finish with the best of them. I mean, to put him in the same breath as LeBron James in terms of finishers and running the floor, that's pretty impressive.
It is, and of course, Mike Krzyzewski, with all his experience with LeBron James in the Olympic teams, he would be a very good person to make that comparison.
Blue Devils on a 9-0 run. Lewis on the fly. Casimir tries to feed and does. He finds Griffin. In the middle is open.
Well, Griffin has a fantastic touch in that paint area.
He's 4 of 4 red.
Averages 11 points on the season, 52% field goal shooter.
Trent, 3, book it.
6 of 11, the Blue Devils from distance so far in this first half today. And another turnover by Casimir.
Carter ripped it away. Grayson Allen, Duval. Carter on top. Carter's from Atlanta.
I think he was throwing a lob.
Yeah, I think he was too.
Unless he's developed a new way to shoot a jump shot.
Griffin, he's trying to lob. Nice athletic catch there by Adogi. Here's McGill, he's the leading scorer. And Griffin with a rebound pulled down by Gary Trent. Hold on, here comes Carter. Good feed to Duval. Pinpoint pass. Wendell Carter will slam it hard. Duke is loosening themselves up. 14-2 run over Iona.
A naturally aspirated 5-liter V8 engine. A 10-speed direct shift transmission. A meticulously crafted interior. All of these are feats of engineering. Combining them with near-perfect weight distribution is a feat of amazing. Experience the first ever 471 horsepower Lexus LC500 or the multi-stage hybrid LC500H. Experience amazing.
One day your little guy's behind the wheel. It's okay, your mom's side will find a way to deal. You built this business up from the ground. Soon your retired side will pass it on down. Every day brings something new, so much to look forward to. Nationwide is on your side.
Today, right now, you have more power at your fingertips than entire generations that came before you. But it's not really about what technology can do, it's about what you can do with it. We are living in the future we always dreamed of. We have mixed reality that changes how we see the world, and AI empowering us to change the world we see. So what will you do with it?
Hell of a day, huh?
Someone's mutating animals into monsters. We're in trouble.
You know there are other ways of dealing with people.
That's a big arm. Don't fight it. I do know that, yeah, but that's no fun.
Rampage. Experience it in IMAX. Rated PG-13.
Got it?
Here's to all the things that make a house a home. Like a hoop in the driveway. Coldwell Banker Real Estate.
Close out, no! The Surrender Cobra can strike at any time.
Notice the elbow at a perfect 46-degree angle. Is that ice mint leather ice man?
It is now.
Damn, is anybody playing any defense? I know they not.
Remember to grab yourself a Coke because your bracket was perfect. It was just that the teams were off. All kinds of merchandise here inside our location here in downtown Pittsburgh. A little snow falling this morning. Sun broke out. First game we saw overtime with Oklahoma and Rhode Island. And Rhode Island prevailing. So they'll take on the winner of this game Saturday. 15-point lead for Duke. This is their biggest this afternoon.
But with their size, they look like they're covering the whole of the half court in that zone defense.
They're so long.
Iona, they're shooting 58% from the field. They just keep turning the basketball over. 4 turnovers in this first half.
It was interesting hearing Tim Cluse talk about his team. You know, like all college kids that play now against Duke, when they were growing up in grade school and high school, they watched Duke. I mean, this is the team they watch because they've won so often. So there's a little bit of that factor involved, but he said his kids were ready after they practiced yesterday. I'd like to remind you, watch live games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness or download the app today. Well, Griffin has the last 9 Iona points.
Now they're showing a little 1-3-1 zone. Are the Gaels. Again, they're just trying to do something to throw Duke off the pace, and nothing that they do is working.
37% three-point shooter, Marvin Bagley.
And now one in. And showing his versatility. We've seen him dominate in that paint area, and now stretching it to that three-point line.
McGill missed it all, saved, but right back to Duke, and Allen will lead him the other way. Looking for his big man Carter. Down low for Bagley. Draws the double. And picked up. Here come the Gaels. Adogi. McGill. Good feed. T.K. Udogie.
Good hands there by Udogie. That was a fire pass on the dribble penetration.
Gaels have won 3 straight and 4 of 5. Lost 3 of their final 4 regular season games in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Inside, McGill retrieves the missed shot.
And they really need, when they get a defensive rebound, they've got to push the ball.
McGill, Adogi. Rebound by Wendell Carter.
When you get the ball inside like that and you're surrounded by those big guys, you got to kick it out to an open man.
Carter with a three. Crawford with the rebound for the Gales.
You've got both Wendell Carter Jr. and Bagley knocking down threes as well. Or attempting to knock down threes. You're bigs.
Under 4 to go. Iona is 12 of 22. Griffin, the fake, buys some room. Hits another shot.
Man, his stroke has been on fire here.
He's 5 of 6.
Off the bench here for Coach Kluse.
He just seems very comfortably settled into this game. Pump fake, one dribble, easy jump shot.
Like Dan said in the tournament, he had 29, the leading scorer off the bench against Fairfield. Duval slashing inside. Can't get it to drop. It's picked up on the play. Here comes Griffin. Ahead to Crawford. And Iona will attack. Setting up that offense, making that defense. Bogey caught it with a hammer. 6-0 run by Iona. Coach K not happy with that. Iona is not blinking against the 2-seed Blue Devils. Attacking inside for 2.
That's why I wear new Everlight underwear from Fruit of the Loom.
Why would I need Everlight underwear?
Because you don't notice you're wearing it.
Like you're not gonna notice it.
No, he's right. It's made from unbelievably light material.
You believe this hype about underwear you don't notice?
You've never heard of Everlight? What, do you live in a cave?
I think they're onto us. You hearing this? What? No, I'm not. These are just earmuffs. So cold.
New Everlight from Fruit of
creativity. See my creativity.
Regarde-moi.
Joping Chwangi. See my creativity.
Today we're here at Lowe's trying to find a grill big enough for our giant barbecue.
This is the one.
Now that's a grill.
Perfect for this giant barbecue. Hey guys, we talked about this, didn't we?
Shop Lowe's Spring Black Friday and get up to 20% off select grills.
I just got a tip that'll crack this case wide open.
Did McGrumpy Wuffy get a tippy whippy?
Who's a good boy? Is him a good boy? As long as people talk baby talk to dogs, you can count on Geico saving folks money. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Back to Pittsburgh, Duke on top. They've led by 17. Let's take a look at the Infinity Coaches Spotlight. And take a look at 8th-year head coach Tim Kluse, who's a former Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference Coach of the Year, second winningest coach in the history of that program. And what was the first thing he said to you yesterday, Dan? He goes, oh, how do you attack Duke? What do you do up against Duke? And he said?
We got to make all our shots.
Yeah, he's close.
Okay, yes.
And they haven't done that, which is maybe why they're behind. They've made a very high percentage.
Yes, they
But he
have.
also said, we got to make all our shots and we want Duke to miss all theirs, and that's not happening.
Well, they're making 58% of their shots against 2-seed Duke.
They're trying to change it up on the defensive end. Here they go back to man-to-man, and they get a turnover.
Lewis the steal around Lewis and puts it up and in. So Zach Lewis by Grayson Allen, who is defending on the play, and they get 2.
And this Iona team, they've been down before and found ways to get back. They are 6-4 as Gary Trent Jr. knocks down a 3. They are 6-4 when they have trailed by 10-plus points before. So they do know how to work their way back into ball games.
While they're patient, they run down that shot clock, and they're hitting their shots now. 60% are falling in the first half for the Gaels.
Oh, what a pass.
They go inside.
Griffin to Crawford.
Yeah, that's a foul. I think it went on Gary Trent Jr. It did.
We've been talking about Griffin and his ability to shoot the ball, which has been impressive here in this first half. But that time, he made a nice, quick pass, and he had to do that because the defense was collapsing.
E.J. Crawford is from Hartford, Connecticut, St. Thomas More High School. 79% free throw shooter. At the stripe for the Gaels. You can't teach speed until now. Bleacher Report. Get alerts for your teams and scores before anyone else. Download the app now. 2 to play in the first half. Talking to Mike Krzyzewski the other day, and he was talking about how young his team was, and starting the 4 freshmen certainly reflects this. He said, I've never had a team like this. He has started 4 freshmen before, but and that goes back to the Jay Billis days. But
not all McDonald All-Americans and highly recruited. Another turnover here for Duke.
Like Bagley trying to shove and get position.
See, what Coach K was telling us yesterday, he's like, I love my team, the youth obviously mixed in with the senior Grayson Allen. We can win this whole thing. But we could also lose tomorrow as well.
Javin DeValier is back in the game. DeLaurier, excuse me, and it's Lewis on top. Allen will defend. And Bagley there, wow.
My goodness.
Oh my goodness, is right.
He took that off the shot clock.
Duval inside and 2. Boy, he can score the ball quick. We've seen him hit 3 threes in this game.
He's got such tremendous strength. Doesn't when he gets to the basket, he can finish.
He's got 13 points. That leads Duke. Bagley's got 12. 1 minute to play in the first half. It's Griffin getting the rebound and back up. And Carter is there. Duval will take it. It was Duval for the first half of the season. His parents wanted to change it to a pass. Beautiful pass inside to Bagley.
Even better finish by Bagley.
Casimir and outside for Lewis. Zach Lewis puts it in.
If you're Iona, you're just trying to stay within striking distance. That's all you want to do. Stay within striking distance, so in the last 4 minutes of the game, you have a chance. And Duke is making that really tough. They're putting a tremendous amount of offensive pressure against Iona. By their tremendous rate of scoring.
That man right there, Duval, has done an excellent job.
Delarier, and then it goes down low to Carter, then back out to Grayson Allen with a 3. Looked like he beat the buzzer. Grayson Allen puts down the 3. His 3rd triple of the first half.
Shot clock running down.
With ease.
And that absolutely got off before time expired.
What a nice job by Allen to just bounce right past that defender.
Clearly in, coming up on AT&T at the half. Scores, highlights, and the latest NCAA tournament news. All coming up on AT&T at the half. To Dana.
Coach, you guys obviously got a great 3 at the end for a momentum drive. What did you like that you saw from this team?
Well, you know, I think both teams are ready to play. They put on an offensive display. You know, they have 5 guards, and they know how to play. They're old. They're well coached. They're a championship-level team. So we have to play every possession. I think our guys are playing well, but they put a lot of pressure on you because they can, even though you're playing zone, they can break you down in a dribble.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Coach Mike Krzyzewski and his Blue Devils going to the NCAA tournament again, 23rd consecutive appearance. 2-seed Duke on top of Iona at halftime. We'll take you to AT&T at the half after this message. And a word from your local CBS station.
The home-brewed taste of Gold Peak is perfectly crafted to bring us all together with ingredients like mountain-grown tea and pure filtered water. Gold Peak brings you a home-brewed taste with a variety of flavors that's perfect for moments you want to remember. Gold Peak, the taste that brings you home.
Does this map show the Peninsula Trail?
You won't find that on a map. I'll take you there. Take this left. If you listen real hard, you can hear the whales.
You hear that? Our Subaru Outback lets us see the world, sometimes in ways we never imagined.
Get 0% APR financing on all new 2018 Subaru Outback models, now through April 2nd.
Putting off a tire rotation? We've got you covered. The highly trained technicians at Jiffy Lube rotate tires to keep you on the road. You can do more in a Jiffy.
To be forever a champion. The kind of moments they talk about for a lifetime. The championship game. We'll have it on TBS.
AT&T at the half is presented by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing.
20 minutes in the books in Pittsburgh, and Grayson Allen, one of 3 Blue Devils in double figures in Duke with the 53-39 halftime lead. I'm Ernie Johnson along with Clark, Kenny, and Charles here in our New York studio. And I mean, if you're Iona, guys, you're sitting here shooting 55% in the first half and you're down by 14 to the Blue Devils of Duke. Charles?
Well, they're just too small. They can't handle Bagley down low. He's dominating. He has 14 points. Grayson's played well. They're shooting well, but they're just too little to match up with the physical presence of Duke inside.
62% shooting for the Blue Devils.
Well, the closer you get the ball to the basket, the likelihood of a high shooting percentage is pretty good.
Hold on, I'm jotting that down.
The closer there you are. That's right. The closer you get to the goal, but they're also able to splash it from outside, too. And then here we see in transition, Duval to Wendell Carter Jr. and Blue Devils. Shot quality is high and easy, and to Chuck's point, because of the size, good big, as my late dad used to say, overwhelms good little over time, and that's what you're seeing there.
Way too many notes for me to take from your pearls of wisdom. 23 straight appearances here. How do you compare this Duke team to others that you've seen? They're looking for their 6th title.
You know, we talked to Coach K the other day, and I asked him that question about his freshmen, and he said freshmen are used to being complimented, meaning having players that compliment them, and then when they come here, this is the first time that they have to compliment someone else as a player. And I think that is probably some of the struggles that they've had. You know, obviously, you know, all of those 3, Wendell Carter, Trayvon, as well as Marvin, they've been the guy their whole life, and now they have to compliment. But then the second part is the zone, because this is the first time that we've seen a Duke basketball team or team from Durham play with the zone.
It's turned their season around.
Yeah. But it's turned them around. But in the same way, it keeps people in the game. Because, you know, as we saw, it was a 16-point lead, dropped to 10. So it keeps some inferior talent around because you don't have as many possessions. They're going to get wide open looks for threes. So there's going to be a point in this tournament that they're going to have to come out of the zone. And I think that will be another turning point if they're able to be successful, because I don't believe that they can get to a national championship and win it playing a zone with that much talent. They have to me, the most talented roster from top to bottom.
Interesting.
And they need more possessions and not allow teams to be close to them.
But that size can be very overwhelming in the length of that zone. They've actually gotten better at it.
I'm not saying.
Yeah, okay, it'll be fun to watch.
Because when you play a team like Purdue, who has 4 guys who shoot over 40%, you know, you play a team that has 3 or 4 guys that shoot over 40% from the three-point line, then all of a sudden you got to stretch that defense, and that to me is going to be the turning point to see if they get to the final. But the biggest difference is going to be Grayson Allen and Gary Trent Jr., because you have to stop those big boys down low. And if Duke can make shots on the perimeter, they're going to be tough to beat.
53-39 is the halftime score. We go to the highlights. The winner of this game gets the winner of Oklahoma and Rhode Island from earlier today. And you talk about Oklahoma, you're talking about Trey Young, the freshman, and you're talking late in the game. Young for
just a shot right there. I thought but he did make a couple of mistakes trying to play hero ball down the stretch. But he's the hero.
Rhode Island sees your Trey Young and raises you E.C. Matthews.
Yeah, E.C. Matthews was great. Comes off here, shakes Trey Young here for the 3, but none bigger than this. James Harden step side and knock down for 3. Yes. That was the big one. That was the dagger.
Dan Hurley looking like what he was on Selection Sunday when he was celebrating Bobby Hurley, his brother, getting into the tournament, and Lon Kruger, who has taken 5 teams to the tournament, 5 different teams, but Oklahoma gets bounced in their opener by Rhode Island. Let's move on, shall we, Clark, to Gonzaga. The Bulldogs had their hands full.
Yes, they did. It's tied up after this layup by Demetrius Troy, 62 all, and then Jordy Kuiper with the nice putback. We're even at 64. Then Zach Norvell Jr. They call him the microwave, and that's why. Big bucket there. Good look here from Marvin Smith. Half of it went down. And the Zags hold on and survive. Great showing by the Spartans there.
68-64 final. That is 15 straight wins for Gonzaga. Meantime, number 16 Penn taking on number 1 Kansas. And as a matter of fact, in fact, here it comes right there. Hey, there's a little pump fake. Some of you bought it. I almost did. 27-23 at that point, Kansas. They had to come from double digits down early.
They did, because this Penn team gets good shots. That was Caleb Wood knocking it down, but Devontae Graham, Player of the Year candidate for good reasons. Steve McKiley on the nice pass that time to Gerald Vick. And the Jayhawks starting to create a bit of separation now.
And the Jayhawks advance over number 16 Penn. AT&T at the half, continuing right after this.
Gatorade G2, half the sugar with all.
Are you still trying to perform on an old computer? That's like Serena trying to perform with an old racket.
You can say that again.
Upgrade your game to Intel's most powerful processor.
Anna, do you have those plans?
Yes. I just wanted to show you something I've been James R. & Associates, Anna speaking. James R. & Associates, Anna. Baker Architects, this is Anna Baker.
This is what our version of financial planning looks like. Tomorrow is important, but you're ready to bet on yourself today. Spend your life living. Find an advisor at northwesternmutual.com.
How to get this yard?
Behind Pete's great-looking yard is his secret weapon, the Scott's Turf Builder program. All it takes is 4 feedings with a Scott's solution for every season.
It's that easy.
This is a Scott's yard.
Coming up tonight on CBS, number 12, Davidson punching its ticket after upsetting Rhode Island to win the A-10, facing a resurgent Kentucky, winning the 4th straight SEC title. A clash of Wildcats later here on CBS. Kentucky coach John Calipari was asked what did he and his team do when they arrived in Boise.
We went to DK's Donuts. I am not a donut eater, but I ate some of those donuts. I've never heard of a place, only in Boise. They're open from 4 a.m. Who goes at 4 a.m.? So I'm like, policemen, ranchers, farmers, who would go at 4 a.m.? Unless you're just getting in. And it doesn't look like a town like that.
I think I know a guy who's probably done some 4 a.m. donuts.
8 a.m. and noon too, probably.
Hey, that's a good all day long. Any time of day. There's no bad time to have a donut.
A good donut.
Hey, Chuck,
I agree
good donut.
Got to be a good donut.
I would agree with that, Chuck.
5 and 12 matchup there with the Wildcats of Kentucky and Davidson. Any trouble for Kentucky tonight?
I don't think so. I think this has been one of John Calipari's best coaching job. He was patient. They were awful at the beginning of the season. They got better throughout the season. Obviously, they ended up winning the SEC tournament. But they were awful the first.
I've got a furrowed brow on that one.
Okay. This could be big for the A-10. You got the Bonnies in.
The style that Davidson plays, because they make you work defensively and they shoot threes, is exactly what could cause the Wildcats of
3 winners for the
A-10.
Hey, I'll bet you some donuts on it.
Back out for the second half of Iona and Duke right after this.
AT&T